And U.S. President Donald Trump will send a clear message on human rights principles to President Duterte when they meet one-on-one next month. That is according to a senior White House official who briefed reporters about Trump's 12-day Asian tour. Trump had praised Duterte for doing, quote, an unbelievable job on the drug problem. That's based off a phone transcript obtained by the Washington Post, which eventually landed Trump in hot water in Washington, D.C., where some senators had barred arms sales to the Philippines over extrajudicial killings. Trump will also stress the need for fair and reciprocal economic ties during his visit to Asia, which includes the APEC summit in Vietnam and U.S.-ASEAN summit here in the Philippines. No date has been announced for his meeting with Duterte. Well, in the run-up to the big summit in November, ASEAN defense ministers, including their dialogue partners like the U.S. and Australia, have gathered in Clark for high-level talks. Bev Natividad is following that story in Clark, Pampanga.
Amid escalating tensions in the Korean Peninsula, unresolved maritime disputes, and the threat of terrorism in the region, ASEAN defense chiefs agreed to step up efforts to deepen cooperation. In a joint declaration signed Monday at the 11th ASEAN Defense Ministers meeting at Clark Freeport in Pampanga, ministers renewed their commitment to fully and effectively implement the Declaration on the Conduct of Parties in the South China Sea, as well as work towards an early conclusion of the actual Code of Conduct. The defense ministers also reiterated the importance of maintaining peace, stability, and freedom of navigation and overflight in the South China Sea, calling on all parties to exercise self-restraint and abide by the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS. ASEAN and China have agreed to begin consultations on the text of the Code of Conduct within this year. The growing nuclear threat from Pyongyang was also high on the agenda of the ASEAN defense ministers, who collectively expressed grave concerns over the escalation of tensions brought about by North Korea's aggressive ballistic missile launches and nuclear tests. The ASEAN defense chiefs urged the isolated state to immediately comply with UN Security Council obligations. Dialogue partners for this round are Australia, China, India, Japan, New Zealand, South Korea, Russia, and the US, who are likewise expected to push for the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula.
A great opportunity to meet with so many of my regional counterparts and to exchange views on some of the key security issues that challenge us every day, whether it is dealing with the challenges posed by the regime in North Korea, challenges that we all face around terrorist activities. These are the things which enable us to work as one in a strong multilateral context.
Payne also visited the crew of the Australian AP-3C Orion aircraft stationed at the Clark Air Base. Australia had sent 2 of these planes back in June to Marawi. Equipped with electro-optic systems, the planes provided imagery and surveillance support to government troops fighting on the ground. The group also condemned in the strongest terms the attacks carried out by the Maute group in Marawi City. It was only fitting that the Philippines, as ASEAN chair, was able to open the high-level summit with news that the 5-month-long siege is over.
The last group of stragglers of Maotes, and they were caught in one building and there was a firefight. 42 cadavers were recovered. There are no more militants inside Marawi City.
The ASEAN joint statement also highlights the need to increase surveillance and public awareness about radicalism. On day 2 of the summit, the ASEAN Defense
Magandang umaga, ako si Ruth Cabal. Hatid namin ang mga balitang mahalaga sa inyo. Bahagi kayo ng talakayan dito sa Newsroom ngayon. Mga kaso laban kay COMELEC Chair Andy Bautista itutuloy pa rin matapos tanggapin ng Malacanang ang kanyang pagbibitiw. China nagbigay ng tulong para sa rehabilitasyon ng Marawi. Sa ating issue ngayon, pabor ka bang ipagbawal ang full-face helmet sa mga nagmomotorsiklo? At sa ating talakayan, mga Pinoy abroad magkakaroon ng sarili nilang bangko. Di palusot sa mga kaso ang nagbitiw na COMELEC chairman na si Andres Bautista ayon yan sa kampo ng kanyang asawa. Ito'y matapos tanggapin ng Malacanang ang kanyang resignation effective immediately kahit pauna nang sinabi ni Bautista na manunungkulan siya hanggang sa katapusan ng taon. Ayon kay Attorney Lorna Capunan, legal counsel ni Patricia Bautista, hinahanda na nila ang kasong pandarambong o plunder laban sa COMELEC chair pati sa mga sinasabing kasabwat niya dahil sa umano'y questionabling yaman ni Chairman Bautista. Tatalakayin din ngayong umaga ng House Justice Committee ang impeachment laban kay Bautista. Inihahanda nila ang Articles of Impeachment laban sa COMELEC Chair. Ito'y matapos ibasura ng Kamara ang resolusyon ng komite na nagdi-dismiss sa impeachment laban kay Bautista. Inilabas sa Executive Secretary Salvador Mejaldea ang tugon ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte sa resignation ni Bautista. Tinanggap naman ni Bautista ang desisyon ng Pangulo. Nagpaalam na siya sa mga empleyado ng COMELEC at sinabing hindi na siya dadalo sa COMELEC and Bank ngayong araw. Aniya, aalis na siya sa pwesto para mabigyan ng sapat na panahon ang papalit sa kanya na makapaghanda.
Nung sinabi ko yung December 31, hindi ko naman basta-basta lang sinabi yun ay pagkatapos rin ng pag-uusap at kung bakit ko nga ginawa yun ay dahil gusto kong bigyan yung appointing authority ng paggalang na bigyan nga ng panahon na makahanap ng kapalit at magkaroon nga ng orderly transition. Pero kung ang kanyang palagay is ito ang tamang gawin, ginagalang ko ang kanyang pasya at ginagalang ko ang kanyang desisyon.
Tinapos na ng militar ang kanilang opensiba sa Marawi City 5 buwan mula nang sumiklab ang gera doon. Kasabay nito ang muling pagbukas ng ilang opisina sa lungsod, senyales ng kagustuhan ng mga Maranao na maibalik na sa normal ang kanilang pamumuhay. Hindi naman maiwasan ng ilang mga sundalo na maging emosyonal. Narito ang report ng ating senior correspondent na si David Santos.
Para sa mga tropa sa Marawi, magkahalong saya at lungkot ang pagtatapos ng giyera. Matagumpay man nila na bawi ang Marawi mula sa grupong Maute, nalagasan din naman sila ng mahigit 160 kasamahan. Bago sa itinalagang Army Chief nitong buwan, si Lieutenant General Rolly Bautista ang namuno sa operasyon sa Marawi.
Sabi ko nga, day 1, nandito ko, kasama ako sa nagsimula at kasama rin ako sa nagtapos. No? Very significant din to kasi nakita ko yung katapusan ng gulo. Kasi nung magsimula to, talagang hindi namin alam kung paano tatapusin ang gera. With the area talaga na masyadong malaki pa at malakas yung kalaban.
Tinupad ng militar ang kanilang bantang tatapusin ang mga nalalabing Maute na nakakubli sa isang gusali sa battle zone. Di pa malinaw paano na isagawa ang operasyon pero di bababa sa 30 bangkay ang nakuha mula sa gusali. Dinig pa rin ang mga putok ng baril at malakas na pagsabog sa loob ng battle zone hanggang bandang hapon ng Lunes.
Even if we terminate already the combat operations, we will still have to do another clearing operations, mapping up operations. So, ang hanapin po natin are the stragglers, maaaring may mga naiwan ng mga fighters. No? Hanapin rin natin po yung mga cadavers. We're going to retrieve them.
Nagbukas naman ang ilang mga opisina ng lokal na pamahalaan. Habang iniinspeksyonan ng mga opisina sa City Hall, di maiwasan ni Marawi Mayor Mahul Gandamra na maalala ang mga unang araw ng paglusob sa lungsod.
Well, bumabalik ko ang alaala na, of course, masakit yun. Masakit sa amin dahil binilaka namin ng Marawi na talagang lubog na. Hoping that lahat ho ng nangyari sa amin ay maging leksyon sa ating lahat.
This would mean that we can finally put into motion the rehabilitation recovery of Marawi City.
Pati mga tropa di maiwasang maging emosyonal habang inaalala ang unang linggo ng bakbakan. Pero kahit dama ang tagumpay, inaalala din ng mga sundalo ang mga kasamahan na nag-alay ng kanilang buhay para sa kanilang misyon.
Namin alam kung saan yung kalaban. Pumasok kami isang platoon lang, kalaban namin may kitsandahan. Akala namin mamatay kami lahat.
Sa 300 tropa ng Special Operations Units ng Philippine Army, 10 sa kanila ang napatay.
Pasalamat ako sa mga namatay kong classmate na dahil sa kanila na less yung casualty ng class namin kasi kung hindi nila sinacrifice yung buhay nila, sigurado marami pang madagdagan na buhay ang mawala sa class namin.
Malaking bagay ang pagtatapos ng giyera hindi lang para sa mga tropa kundi para na din sa kanilang mga pamilya. Papayagan ang mga sundalo ng 1 buwang pahinga para makauwi sa kanilang mga pamilya na ilang buwang ding nag-alala para sa kanilang mga mahal sa buhay. Mula Marawi City, David Santos, CNN Philippines.
Tutulong ang gobyerno ng China sa pagbangon ng Marawi City. Ngayong umaga, tatanggap ang Pilipinas ng construction equipment mula sa bansa na gagamitin para sa rehabilitasyon ng lungsod. Nasa Maynila ang ating correspondent na si Makoy Popioco. Makoy, ano-ano yung mga gamit na binigay ng China?
Ruth, 47 heavy equipment ang ginonate ng pamahalaan ng China para sa rehabilitasyon ng Marawi City. Nasa mahigit 155 million pesos ang kabuuang halaga ng mga kagamitang ito. Kasama sa equipment ang 8 hydraulic excavator, 8 wheel loader, 8 dump truck at 8 cement mixer. Kahapon, dineklara ni Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana ang pagtatapos ng combat operations laban sa Maote Group. Ibig sabihin, makakapagsimula na ang rehabilitasyon ng Marawi City. Inaasahang dadalo dito sa handover ceremony sina DPWH Secretary Mark Villar, pati na rin si Secretary Lorenzana. Nandito rin ang mga lokal na opisyalis ng Marawi City, sina Mayor Majul Gandamra at Governor Soraya Adjong. Sa panig ng China, inaasahang darating si Chinese Ambassador Zhao Jinhua at kanina nakausap natin si Defense Undersecretary Task Force Bangon Marawi Executive Director Cesariano. Nabanggit niya na sisikapin ng gobyerno na tapusin ang nasa 600 transitional houses bago magtapos ang taon para makalipat na agad ang mga pakwit. Ruth.
Makoy, linawin lang natin yung mga binigay na heavy equipment ng China. Donasyon yan, hindi yan utang o kaya may certain conditions na nakatali dyan.
Well, Ruth, yun yung sabi sa atin, the donations ito from China. Tungkol dyan, kung meron bang kondisyones na nabanggit sa pagtanggap ng China o ng pagtanggap ng ating bansa sa mga donasyon na binigay ng China, well, hindi pa yan natin nakaklaro. Later on, I will try ask the officials ng gobyerno na nandito.
Makoy Popioco, nag-uulat mula sa Maynila. Marami pa ang kailangan gawin para sa muling pagtatayo ng Marawi City. Alamin ang mga plano ng gobyerno at ng pribadong sektor kaugnay dito sa isang roundtable discussion sa Newsnight mamayang 7:00 ng gabi. Handa namang tumulong ang Australia sa Pilipinas sa pagsugpo ng bansa laban sa terorismo. Ayon sa Australia, sasanayin nila ang mga sundalo ng Pilipinas sa urban warfare at counter-terrorism. Nagtutulungan din ang dalawang bansa sa maritime patrols at pagbabahagi ng intelligence na nakatuon umano sa mga banyagang terorista. Ayon kay Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana, mayroon na silang listahan mula sa Baghdad ng mga Malaysian at Pilipinong nakikipagbakbakan sa Iraq. Ito ay para umano sa kanilang pag-monitor sakaling makarating ang mga ito sa Mindanao. Samantala, nagtipon-tipon ang mga taga-suporta ni Pangulong Duterte sa pangunguna ng kanyang anak na si Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte para ilunsad ang Tapang at Malasakit Alliance for the Philippines. Ayon sa presidential daughter, layo ng kanilang grupo na pagbuklurin ang mga nagkawatak-watak na Pilipino at para sugpuin ang mga tunay na kalaban ng bansa, kahirapan, krimen at terorismo. Nilinaw din ni Mayor Sara na hindi ginawa ang alyansa para tapatan ang tindig Pilipinas na binubuo ng oposisyon at mga kritiko ng Administrasyong Duterte. Hindi rin aniya ito tungkol sa politika.
In fact, we are asking them to join us. This is a call for our country. Let us support the government. Some of them are working in the government. Let us turn this country around. Hindi ko naman kailangan yung mga tiga-Luzon para sa kandidatura ko sa Davao eh. So, no, this is not for elections.
Kayo ay nasa newsroom ngayon sa mga kababayan natin sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo. Mapapanood nyo rin kami sa cnnphilippines.com at sa aming Facebook page, CNN Philippines. Yung mga unang nag-comment dito sa ating Facebook Live, Christopher Nabua, watching from Balanga City, at si BJ McQueen. Abiso sa mga motorista, may dagdag singil sa presyo ng produktong petrolyo simula ngayong araw. Tumaas ng 65 centavos kada litro ang presyo ng gasolina, 35 centavos kada litro naman sa diesel. Tumaas din ng 55 centavos kada litro sa presyo ng kerosene. Ang dagdag singil na yan ay dahil sa paggalaw ng presyo sa pandaigdigang merkado. Samantala, magandang balita naman para sa mga estudyante. Simula Biyernes, October 28, makakatanggap na kayo ng 20% discount sa inyong pamasahe sa mga pampublikong sasakyan kahit na sa weekend at mga holiday. Sa bagong memorandum ng Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, maaari nang magkaroon ng discount ang mga estudyante buong linggo, kasama dyan ang summer break at mga holiday. Hindi po kasi kasama sa dating kautusan ng mga, hindi kasama ang mga postgraduate students. Silipin natin ang lagay ng trapiko sa mga oras na ito. Ito ang EDSA Guadalupe. Ang lane sa kanan ay papuntang north. Asahan ng mabilis lang inyong biyahe patungong Shaw Boulevard. Gayon din sa southbound lane, yan po ay sa kaliwang bahagi. Saglit lang ang inyong pagmamaneho papuntang Ayala. Dumako naman tayo sa panulukan ng Taft Avenue at Quirino Avenue sa Maynila. Ang southbound lane ay nasa kanan. Asahan ang mabilis na biyahe dyan. Sa northbound lane naman sa kaliwa, asahan ang paninikip ng trapiko bago dumating sa may intersection. Abangan! Pabor ba kayo sa panukalang ipagbawal ang full-face helmet sa mga driver ng maliliit na motor? Yan daw ay upang masugpo ang krimen, sangkot ang mga riding in tandem. Mag-comment sa ating issue ngayon. At sa ating talakayan, alamin natin ang benepisyong hatid ng pagkakaroon ng espesyal na bangko para sa mga Pinoy abroad. Kayo ay nasa newsroom ngayon. Facebook Live, kamusta dun sa mga nanonood sa atin sa Facebook, Lance Capistrano, Ricardo Manayon, and Neng Conrain. Good morning daw from Hong Kong. Magandang umaga sa inyo dyan. Ang ating topic, naku, maganda to sa mga, morning sir. Magandang topic to kasi marami kaming viewers, sir, ng mga overseas Filipino workers or yung Pinoy sa abroad. So, meron na kayong sarili nyong bangko. So, alamin nyo dito sa ating talakayan kung ano-ano yung mga benefits na magkakaroon kayo ng sarili nyong bangko. Ang sabi kasi ni Pangulong Duterte, talagang makakagaan to in terms of yung binabayaran for remittances. So, susunod na yan. Also, pwede kayong mag-comment sa ating issue kung pabor ba kayo doon sa plano or sinusulong ng Highway Patrol Group na ipagbawal yung full face, yung regular helmet na nakatakip sa buong ulo. Kasi ang gusto daw nila, para kontra sa krimen, makita daw ng konti kahit paano yung itsura ng driver. So, pabor ba kayo dyan? Only for small motorcycles na karaniwan involved daw sa riding in tandem. Yan. So, pwede kayong maglagay ng inyong comments. Also, kung may questions kayo, kasama natin yung mismong President po and CEO ng Land Bank, si Mr. Alex Buenaventura. Pwede kayong maglagay ng questions about the OFB, Overseas Filipino Bank. Kayo ay nasa newsroom ngayon. Tatalakayin natin ang mga napapanahong issue na mahalaga sa inyo. Ilang linggo lang matapos i-anunsyo ng Philippine National Police na tututukan ito ang mga riding in tandem na gumagawa ng mga krimen, sinabi ni PNP Chief Ronald de la Rosa halos wala na o bumaba na ang insidenteng kinasasangkutan ng mga ito. Pero giit ni de la Rosa, magpapatuloy ang PNP sa kampanya laban sa mga riding in tandem. Sinusulong nga muli ng Highway Patrol Group ang pag-amyenda sa helmet law para ipagbawal ang full face helmet. Ito yung karaniwang ginagamit ng rider na nakatakip ang buong ulo niya. Gusto ng HPG para sa mga maliliit na motor o yung may makinang 400cc pababa. Half-face helmet lang ang suotin para makikita pa rin ang mukha ng driver. May ganitong panukala ng inihain sa Kongreso na payagan ang mga lokal na pamahalaan na magpatupad ng mga ordinansang nagbabawal sa pagsusuot ng mga helmet sa mga nagmomotorsiklo. Pero agad itong kinontra ng Transportation Department dahil masasakripisyo raw ang kaligtasan ng mga rider. Kayo, pabor ba kayong ipagbawal ang full-face helmet sa mga driver ng maliliit na motor kontra krimen para mas madaling makilala ang rider o hindi dapat ipagbawal para matiyak naman ang kaligtasan ng mga rider? Mag-comment po sa aming Facebook Live at babasahin namin yan bago matapos ang programa. Simula Enero sa susunod na taon, mapapakinabangan na ng mga Pilipino ang Overseas Filipino Bank o OFB. Batayan sa Executive Order 44 ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Ayon sa Pangulo, sa OFB mas magiging madali at mura ang remittance o pagpapadala ng pera sa bansa ng mga Pilipinong nasa abroad. Gayon din ang interes sa kanilang mga utang. Pwede ring bumili ng shares ng Overseas Filipino Bank para dagdag sa ipon ng mga Overseas Filipino. Para po talakayin yan, panauhin natin ngayon si Land Bank of the Philippines President and CEO Alex Buenaventura. Magandang umaga po.
Magandang umaga, Ruth, at sa mga lahat ng nakikinig.
Sir, pakikwento lang muna sa amin. Itong OFB, Overseas Filipino Bank, ay yung dating Philippine Postal Savings. Tama po ba? So ito po ay under Land Bank na. Ano na po mangyayari?
In-acquire ho ng Land Bank ang Postal Savings Bank. At papalitan ho natin ang pangalan yon gagawin nating Overseas Filipino Bank.
Okay.
Sa katuparan ng pangako ng ating Pangulo sa mga OFWs.
So, sino po ang pwedeng magbukas ng mga accounts dito at ano po yung mga benepisyo katulad ng binanggit natin, remittances, so direkta na yung remittances. Ano-ano pa po yung mga benepisyo dito?
4 ho yung major benefits ng ating mga overseas Filipinos. Ang una po yung mas mabilis at mas murang magpadala ng pera sa kanilang mga kamag-anak dito sa Pilipinas. Gusto ko lang i-describe, no? Ang atin hong ipopromote yung paggamit ng
app sa
smartphone.
Opo.
Doon ho sa abroad. Papasok ho sila sa website ng either Western Union or ng Zoom. And then, magpapadala sila through that credit to account sa land bank. So, dapat merong account dito ang mga beneficiary. Doon ho i-credit to account. Pagtanggap ho dito, automatic hong nagti-text alert sa mga beneficiary. Pwede na ho sila maski hating gabi pumunta sa ATM machine para withdrawin yung padala.
Pero kung ikaw yung nasa abroad, paano ka maglo-load dun sa app mo ng Western Union or sinabi nyo na Zoom?
Now, doon ho sa Western Union, dalawa ho ang paraan sa pagbayad. No? One is i-debit yung inyong account.
Sa land bank din po.
Kung meron ho kayong account doon sa abroad, no, na sa bangko, i-debit yon, or i-charge sa credit card.
Okay.
So, dalawa ang paraan na pagpondo noong padala.
Pero saan po pumapasok itong OFB mismo? I mean, is this a physical bank na mag-o-open po sila or this is land bank or paano po proseso dito?
Ang OFB kasi is hiwalay na bangko yan, ano?
Okay.
Subsidiary ng land bank yan.
Okay.
Okay. So, nakatutok ho yan sa pagserbisyo ng mga overseas Filipinos. So, ang ating gagawin ho is ang mga deposit product, remittance products, pati yung loan, pati ho yung mga investment at saka mga savings program, puro ho mga produkto ho yan ng land bank.
Okay.
Kasi mas beneficial ho sa mga beneficiaries yon dahil 423 branches po ang land bank. Ito hong Overseas Filipino Bank, kukunti lang ho ang branch yan. In fact, isa lang na branch yan. Doon ho sa Liwasang Bonifacio.
Pero yung bubuksan po sa January, yung sinasabi niyong OFB, kunyari nasa Saudi Arabia yung isang OFW, ano? Meron po ba siyang makikita na OFB na bangko doon na magbubukas siya ng account? Or
wala ho. Ang atin ng presence ho doon, meron ho tayong representative offices na doon ho natin i-house sa loob ng mga consular offices doon ho sa abroad. In fact, ang pilot ho natin sa representative office is sa Dubai. Ngayon, Enero, pag-launch ho ng Overseas Filipino Bank. So, doon ho tayo magpa-pilot. At meron ho tayong mga tao doon, ang Overseas Filipino Bank, not to do any transaction, but to market. No?
Yeah.
Pupuntahan yung mga overseas Filipinos doon para ibenta or i-market yung 4 na produkto ng land bank products. So, yun,
yes, so if you have an existing land bank account, hindi mo na kailangan magbukas dito sa OFB. Opo. Pero kung wala pa, advisable na magbukas
kailangan,
ka. Opo.
Ang maganda ho dito sa aming programa, ang lalapitan ho namin yung mga beneficiaries ho dito sa Pilipinas.
Para dito mas komportable rin, convenient din for them.
Sila ho ang pupuntahan namin para ipaliwanag sa kanila at sabihin nila doon sa kanilang kamag-anak abroad, ito ang mas magandang paraan para magpadala. Ipakredit nyo na lang sa aming account dito.
Pero, pero sir, tanungin ko lang kayo, kung ako ang overseas Filipino, merong mga ibang bangko na mas marami po yung branches kaysa sa land bank. Ano pong benepisyo kung meron akong existing account ngayon sa ibang commercial banks? Ano pong benepisyo kung magbubukas ako ng account sa OFB?
Hindi ho. Ang account ho nilang bubuksan sa land bank, ano?
Okay.
Now, ang land bank ho may 423 branches. Karamihan ho niya nandoon sa mga rural areas, sa mga remote areas. Mas marami ho ang land bank na mga remote areas compared sa ibang bangko.
Okay.
Yun.
So parang ang advantage kasi sa remote, sa malalayo no?
Opo.
Isa na lang po yung binanggit na pwedeng bumili ng shares ng bangko. O paano po mangyayari yun?
Ang atin hong mga OFWs, including yung kanilang beneficiaries, pwede hong bumili ng preferred shares. Yan hong preferred shares, a kind of stock ownership ho, pero non-voting ho yan. Ang maganda ho dyan sa preferred shares, malaki ho ang kita niyan.
Okay. So parang may iba pa silang pagkakakunan ng kanilang savings, ano? Pag bumili sila ng shares. Kung gusto na nilang mag-open ng account and other details, ano pong pwede nilang gawin?
Well, ang atin hong mga beneficiaries, hintayin niyo lang ho kami dyan sa inyong mga bahay-bahay dyan. At pupuntahan ho namin kayo at amin hong ipapaliwanag house to house yung atin hong serbisyo para sa inyo. Pero kayo ho ang magpapadala ng aming ibibigay sa inyo doon sa mga kamag-anak nyo abroad.
Phone number po ng Land Bank or do you have a website po for more information?
Meron hong binigay ako dyan kanina mga contact number para kung mag-inquire sila kung ano po.
Okay, yan. Land Bank of the Philippines phone number and email and website. Okay, maraming pong salamat kay Land Bank of the Philippines President and CEO Alex Buenaventura.
Thank you.
Abangan mga karne sa ilang palengke sa Quezon City ni raid at kinumpiska ng mga otoridad. At kilalanin ang pinakabagong miyembro ng pamilya ng dating PBA superstar na si Jimmy Alapag. Huwag bibitiw dito sa Newsroom ngayon. Si J.R. Mendoza, nag-post siya nung Zoom. Tama po ba yung XOOM? Yun yung gagamitin, ano po? XOOM. Opo, yun ang gagamitin. Pero may isang question si Lance Capistrano. Paano po kami mag-o-open dito? May mga subsidiary ba o accredited banks like NJAS or Telemoney daw?
Mag-open?
Oo, land bank. May land bank ba sa ibang bansa po na mga pwede?
Dito dapat mag-open. Ano?
Pero yung mga nasa abroad?
Yung nasa abroad,
Western Union pa rin and Zoom.
Kung gusto nilang mag-open, we will give them the requirements doon.
Opo.
Ipapadala namin yung mga requirements dito sa Manila.
Opo.
At ibabalik namin sa kanila yung card nila, ATM card.
So dito pa rin i-open yung land bank dito. Pero from there, anong gagamitin nila? Yung mga Western Union and Zoom. Yun ang sinasabi niya.
Western Union, Zoom, at mga bank account nila doon,
Si
yung credit card nila doon.
Tessie Tiamzon de la Cruz, ang question niya, how about the exchange rate? Masyado daw mababa sa Western Union. Susundin lang sa market. Susundin lang.
Oo, medyo hindi pa ho namin kaya mag-invest doon sa .com eh. Oo, mabigat ho yung .com na system.
Okay. Sige po. Thank you po. Kasi babalik na tayo sa ano. Ang daming mga questions. Next time ulit, pag na-open na, sir, balik kayo, ha? Thank you po, sir. Thank you. Kayo ay nasa newsroom ngayon dito sa CNN Philippines. Nagsagawa ng raid ang mga otoridad sa ilang palengke sa Quezon City para kumpiskahin ang mga karneng hindi wasto ang paghawak o hindi dumaan sa tamang proseso ng sanitasyon. Sinagawa ng Quezon City Veterinary Department at mga miyembro ng SWAT team ang raid sa Commonwealth at Novaliches Wet Markets. Ayon sa City Veterinarian ng Lungsod, magsisilbi sana itong babala sa mga nagtitinda ng karne na maging responsable sa pagsiguro na maganda ang mga kalidad ng mga produktong kanilang binibenta. Ayon kay Dr. Marie Cabel, ang mga hindi susunod ay lalabag sa Sanitation Code, Meat Inspection Code, and Consumer Act of the Philippines. Nakumpiska sa naturang raid ang nasa 200 kilo ng karne.
Ina-intensify na namin yung monitoring namin, lalo na sa meat products, kasi darating na yung holiday season. Marami na tayong supply So medyo nagiging pabayaan na yung mga tindero natin. Katulad yan, itong frozen, hindi dapat talaga dapat nasa freezer to, hindi naman dapat siya nasa stall. Ito, tinan mo yung stall niya, makeshift lang, kung saan nakalagay yung mga karne, nakasaksak sa ilalim, hindi na, kulang na ng sanitation.
Sinampahan ng kasong libel ng Justice Department si Senator Antonio Trillanes sa Makati City Regional Trial Court. Ito'y matapos makitaan ng probable cause ng DOJ ang reklamong inihain ni dating Vice President Jejomar Binay laban sa senador noong 2015. Nag-ugat ang complaint ni Binay sa naging pahayag ni Trillanes na lumabas sa isang news website. Sinabi noon ng senador na kumita ang pamilya Binay ng 100 milyong piso kada taon sa mga racket nito sa Makati. Ayon kay Binay, mapanira ng reputasyon ang mga sinabi ni Trillanes laban sa kanyang pamilya. Gusto ng kamag-anak ng Kalinga tattoo master na si Apo Wang-od na ihinto na ang debate online tungkol sa kanyang lola. Kinokondena pa rin kasi ng ilang mga netizen ang partisipasyon ni Wang-od sa Manila Fame Design Event. Para sa kanila, na-exploit o naabuso ang 100-year-old tattoo artist. Pero tinanggihan ng mismong kamag-anak ni Wang-od na si Grace Palikas. Sabi ni Palikas, maluwag sa loob nila ang pagdalo nila sa pagtitipon at natanggap nila ang lahat ng kinita ng kanyang lola sa pagtatato doon. Dagdag pa ng dalaga sa kanyang Facebook post, quote, kung patuloy po ang issues na ito, ay parang pinagmukha nyo na rin kaming tanga. Kaya please, #stop the negativity. Samantala, umaapaw ang saya ng dating PBA superstar na si Jimmy Alapag at ang asawa nitong si LJ Moreno dahil sa pagsilang ng kanilang ikatlong anak. Pinangalanan ng basketballista at aktres ang kanilang baby na si Kaylan Asher. Isa na namang baby boy yan para sa celebrity couple matapos ikasal noong 2010. Kasunod siya ng panganay nilang si Maximus at unika ihang si Kiona Sky. Kasalukuyang head coach ng Alab Pilipinas sa ASEAN Basketball League si Alapag. Sasabak sila sa unang laban sa November 19 katapat ang defending champions na Hong Kong Eastern Lions. At kanina po ay tinanong namin, pabor ba kayong ipagbawal ang full-face helmet sa mga driver ng maliliit na motor kontra krimen para mas madaling makilala ang mga rider? Payag dito si Romy Roaring, sabi niya pag wala ng full-face helmet, mawawakasan na rin ang mga riding in tandem. Tutol naman si Idemer Bartolata. Comment niya, mababawasan nga ang krimen, tataas naman daw ang kaso ng mga maaaksidenteng motor. Hindi rin pabor si Daryl Dixon, suggestion niya, lagyan ng plate number sa taas ng helmet para di na bumili ng bagong helmet at para di na mabawasan ang safety ng mga rider. Maraming pong salamat sa inyong mga komento. At yan ang mga balita at isyong ating tinutukan, napapanahon at mahalaga para sa inyo. Samahan niyo akong muli bukas. Ako si Ruth Cabal at ito ang Newsroom ngayon.
ASEAN Secretariat position. When I finish this one, I nearly called you John then, Sam, sorry. I'll then go and sit at the head table as well. So, ASEAN Secretariat position, ASEAN Secretariat position. Also, ASEAN Secretariat position. Right, cool, okay. I'm going to go and sit next to John.
Thailand left hand. Yeah. Left arm. This one as well. It's just the arm. Oh no, it's just all the arms.
Yeah, that the one you just sat in that shifted left, right?
Yeah, skewed. I say, next year, we hold it in Singapore.
Do you want to test this? Serious, I'm not joking. Just have a try though first.
To the long-standing and close defence relationship that Australia and the Philippines shares. We are, as we noted on that occasion and again this morning, absolutely committed to supporting the Philippines in efforts to defeat the terrorist threat that has emerged here in your country. We very much welcome the announcement yesterday that combat action in Marawi has ended. But I'd also like to say we're acutely aware, Mr. Secretary, that these efforts to defeat the terrorists have come at a great cost to the people of Marawi and at a great cost to the armed forces of the Philippines. And my thoughts and the thoughts of Australia are with you and your country members at this time. We know that the spread of Daesh is a threat to our regional security, including, inevitably therefore, the security of Australia. We also recognise that no single country is able to address the threat of terrorism on its own. It is all-pervasive. It knows no borders, and on that basis we have to work together. We know that to prevent its spread, all the countries in the region do have to work cooperatively, and that is why Australia has been very committed to its support with the Philippines in recent months in this task. I can confirm this morning that Secretary Lorenzana and I have agreed a new range of measures which we spoke about on the last occasion that I was here in our first discussion on this matter, that will see our two countries increase our cooperation to support the Philippines Armed Forces in addressing the challenges that are posed by modern-day terrorism. The ADF will provide mobile training teams that will begin providing urban warfare, counter-terrorism training in the Philippines in the coming days. It's very practical training by the ADF which will provide and support the Philippines Defence Force to be able to counter what are very brutal tactics employed by terrorists. Through our significant involvement in the last couple of years in the counter-Daesh campaign in Iraq and Syria, Australia has acquired skills and knowledge that we are able to share with the Philippines Armed Forces. As part of our increased cooperation, we've also agreed to work together to enhance intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance in the southern Philippines, to strengthen our information sharing arrangements and to enhance our maritime security engagement and bilateral maritime patrols. Together, Australia and the Philippines will co-host a multi-agency civil, military and law enforcement seminar on post-conflict rehabilitation efforts later this year. This seminar will draw on lessons from past operations and international and local civil military police expertise. These measures together will strengthen our ability and the ability of the governments in the region, but here specifically the Philippines, to combat this terrorist threat over the long term. This enhanced training support will include a number of elements, and I'll just go through those briefly. The Australian Army will provide training to the Philippines Army and the Philippines Marine Corps. This training will be conducted on Philippines military bases. It will involve a range of skills related to combat in urban environments. It will involve information sharing and experience sharing to ensure that we are best able to use the skills that we have to hand. The Royal Australian Navy will conduct ship visits to the Philippines that will involve a range of cooperative activities to support the development of capacity in the Philippines Navy. This cooperation will begin with an Australian patrol boat visit in the next month. Our P3 Orion maritime patrol aircraft have been operating in support of the fight in Marawi for some months now, and the Secretary and I have discussed their activities in the last couple of days. Now that the Secretary of National Defence, Lorenzana, has declared the end of combat operations in Marawi, we have been reviewing with the Philippines the need for that continuing engagement, intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance support, and we will work with the Philippines to address that in the coming days. Australian experts from military and civilian agencies will, as I said, conduct a seminar here in the Philippines which is focused on the benefits of a whole-of-government response and approach to reconstruction, recovery and rehabilitation. We're also going to increase our intelligence cooperation, including expert advice on countering Daesh-inspired social media narratives. We know that the battle against terrorism doesn't just occur in the physical combat zone. It occurs in the internet zone. It occurs in the cyber world to a degree that it is perhaps difficult to appreciate unless you are very, very focused on that, and this is something which we've been very conscious of in Iraq and in Syria. This package of activities has been developed in very close cooperation with our friends in the Philippines, and we are confident that it will provide the sort of support to the AFP who have worked so very, very hard at the effort in Marawi that will help to build capacity to deal with the threat from terrorist groups. In addition to our strong Philippines-Australian defence relationship, the region needs the cooperative effort of our ASEAN neighbours to keep Daesh's aspirations in Southeast Asia in check and to prevent it from spreading further. All of us, all of the nations in the region and further afield, have to learn from what has happened here recently, and I know that Secretary Lorenzana and his counterparts in the ASEAN Defence Ministers have shared discussions on that yesterday. I look forward to further discussions in the ADMM Plus today, and I'm very pleased that Australia is able to offer this practical engagement and support to the Philippines, to our friends here in the Philippines, and I look forward to working together further with Secretary Lorenzana. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Secretary Lorenzana and Minister Payne. Now we will entertain questions. Kindly raise your hand and the microphone will be handed to you. Please state your name, publication and country. Manny, you will go first.
Good morning, ma'am, Madam Minister. You mentioned that there will be an urban warfare training soon. So may we know more details about that? How many troops will be involved? And how long will be the training? And is this a continuing exercise and training? So Australian troops will be rotated in the Philippines?
No, it's made up of mobile training teams, approximately 80 in total, who will go to the appropriate military bases as agreed with the Philippines Armed Forces and the Philippines government to provide the urban warfare training to work with the Army and with the Marines. The focus will be on conducting urban operations. If you think about the amount of work that Australia has done in Iraq, particularly in training, our efforts at Task Group Taji, just for one example, have seen us train over 26,000 members of the Iraqi security forces in their efforts in recent years. We also obviously worked closely with the counter-terrorism service in Iraq. There's skills that we have acquired that we think it's important to share with the Philippines. I've discussed it with Secretary Lorenzana. Equally, the Philippines Armed Forces have skills to share back to the Australians, frankly, as well, and it's very much a two-way street. But about 80 troops, I think I said.
Yeah, while we need troops now to be trained on urban warfare, we also need to build our capacity to have our own capability to train our troops. So part of the program that we are going to do in the near future is to build our urban fighting centers.
And also have a train-the-trainer component as well, which will ensure the skills are replicable here.
That's right.
Just, sir, a follow-up for Mr. Lorenzana. Sir, is Australia now the biggest source of our training program under the DCP?
I think they are one of the biggest yeah, big source of our training programs for our people. We send so many people in every year. I don't know the exact number, but I know I was a beneficiary of the DCP way back then. Yeah, we send a lot. I think only second only to the U.S. So they are huge. They're big up there. Yeah.
So the history of the DCP between Australia and the Philippines is a long and proud one.
Oh, yes.
It includes students in our defence colleges. It includes military-to-military exchanges. As I said, part of this will have an emphasis, part of this particular program will have an emphasis on train the trainer. And this is in addition to our existing exercise program. So there is no diminution of our existing exercise program, which is a very, very effective one.
Hi, good
Yes,
morning.
please.
Let me just shift gears to, I'm Andrea Calonzo from Bloomberg. Minister Payne, yesterday in your opening statement to the media, you said you will raise the behavior of the regime in North Korea in the ASEAN meeting. So I just want to get your thoughts on U.S. President Trump's repeated signaling in his tweets that he's open to the military options in dealing with North Korea, and to Secretary Lorenzana as the ASEAN chair. Did you sense any concern about the U.S. somehow pushing North Korea towards an armed conflict, and is there a concern that this might really this might really happen in the Korean Peninsula?
Andrew, thank you very much for your question. Let me be very clear about this. There is no question that the North Korean program of weapons development and testing is illegal. It is provocative. It is in breach of several United Nations Security Council resolutions. It is in breach of global agreements and international norms, frankly. And Australia has been extremely strong in reiterating our position, which supports that of the United Nations Security Council, supports that of the United States, which is that we will impose the strongest possible sanctions on the North Korean regime, both the sanctions agreed through the UN Security Council processes, but also in Australia's case a number of autonomous sanctions on both individuals and entities from North Korea that will bring the strongest possible pressure to bear that we are able to on the regime. We as an international community need to make it very clear that their behaviour is illegal. It is destabilising and it is provocative. In my visits to Seoul recently, both in September and just 10 days ago, Australia has reiterated those messages with the Republic of Korea government, and we stand strongly with them in relation to that. In terms of the position that the United States has taken, I think what Secretary Tillerson and Secretary Mattis have made clear is that the greatest possible pressure must be brought to bear on the regime through the exercise of sanctions. But at the end of the day, the regime's behaviour is inherently dangerous to global stability, and the United States have made very clear that they will not entertain a threat to the continental United States. I think that is not surprising in the least. That is not unexpected, that position. But nevertheless, through whether it's the meeting here in the Philippines this week, whether it's the bilateral meetings that we have throughout the region, I encourage all of the parties in the region to exercise their strongest possible approach to sanctions. We have to maximise the pressure on the regime. We have seen it have effect. A number of the sanctions have relatively recently come into operation. We have seen effects starting, and I think it's important to maintain those as strongly as possible.
Yeah, the ASEAN, the ADMM has a joint declaration, and we included a part there about Korea's behavior. Sanctioning the behavior of Korea, and reminding North Korea to follow the United Nations resolutions. And so we are very concerned in ASEAN about the behavior of Korea, because we are very near. And we have nationals living in South Korea. If conflict erupts in the Korean Peninsula, then we have a lot of problems with our Filipino nationals there. And not only the Philippines, but also the other ASEAN nations are very concerned about the behavior, dangerous behavior, provocative behavior of North Korea. And I agree with Minister Payne that the action of North Korea is illegal.
Okay, please state your name and publication, sir.
Good morning, Secretary and Minister. I am Jim Gomez. I'm with the Associated Press. I'd like to ask, the Australian military has one of the most focused intelligence monitoring of militants returning from Syria and Iraq to Asia. So to the extent that you can tell us, can you tell us what is Australia monitoring in terms of their numbers and plans? And how should the region respond to this potential threat? And to the Secretary, an extension of this question, how would you deal with the fact that these foreigners are continuously returning and could potentially go to Mindanao?
Jim, I think that's a very good question. We know that as the strength of Daesh in the Middle East, in both Iraq and Syria, has been diminished by the efforts of the international coalition, that foreign fighters who joined the ISIS, the Daesh efforts there, are in part looking to return to their origin, their homes of origin, and in recent times have also found it quite hard to get into Iraq and Syria. So are roaming, are not localized in those areas as much as they had been. So we are very focused on working with our neighbours in the region, working with the Philippines, working with Indonesia and Malaysia and Singapore, and in our own case, to be vigilant in terms of our border protection, vigilant in terms of our efforts to make sure that as far as possible, and it is very difficult to do, we have very porous borders in the region, as you know, but as far as possible we are tracking where people are travelling. It's not simple, however, it's a complex task across oceans, seas and land and air domains to try and do that. But it is important, I think, for us to work closely together. This is an issue I discuss regularly with my Indonesian counterpart, with my Malaysian counterpart, as to the challenges that we face. In Australia's terms, we are able to identify a number of individuals and families, family members who have travelled into the Middle East. We will obviously be vigilant in observing their movements as far as it is possible to do so. But for us, when you think about people who have been part of the Daesh campaigns in Iraq and Syria, they are battle-trained, they are battle-hardened, they are extremists of the highest order who have been prepared to do the most appalling things, using civilians as human shields, using civilians as collateral in their efforts to try and pursue their perverted ideology. So we are acutely aware of the sorts of people we are talking about. We are very focused on working with our counterparts. As whole of government responses, I think it's important to recognise it's not just a defence issue by any means. It's a national security issue, it's a border protection issue, it's a legal issue, it's an immigration issue, as well as a defence issue, and we work together closely with our counterparts, and I particularly value the relationship that I have with Secretary Lorenzana on this.
Yeah, even before the Marawi siege, we have already trying to coordinate with the neighboring countries, especially Malaysia and Indonesia, because early on we know that there were fighters, foreign fighters, local fighters who are fighting in the Middle East who would try to come back, and we have been forewarned by our friends fighting in the Middle East, Australia, the US, who have troops there, and so this has become a collective effort by the regional defense establishments. In fact, the first time that I spoke with Minister Payne over the phone was I was asking her to give us some information about returning fighters. And our talks progressed, and they ended up lending us some of their surveillance planes. But really, the effort doesn't stop. We continue to improve our capability to monitor the returning fighters. Recently, I got a message from our embassy in Baghdad, and they have this information from the Kurdish intelligence, and they have a list of names, long list of names of Malaysians and Indonesians fighting in Iraq. A couple of Filipinos who might come back. And so we are monitoring these people, and we welcome this cooperation that we get from, even from the Middle Eastern countries who want to help us. And also, of course, as mentioned a while ago, Australia is involved in the fight in the Middle East, and so there are people on the ground who have knowledge of what's happening on the ground, of the fighters who could find their way back to the region.
Unfortunately, that is all the time that we have this morning. We'd like to thank Secretary Lorenzana and Minister Payne for joining us
Thank
today.
you very much.
And we'd like to request our two ministers to please come to the front of the stage for a photo opportunity. Thank you very much to the media for coming today. I'm sorry for the short time that we have this morning. Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone.